It's Thursday, May 3rd, 2012. I'm Alex Jones, and this is INFOWARS Nightly News.
Tonight, the battle lines have been drawn. Breaking news from INFOWARS.com. As leaked U.S. Army documents outline the plan for re-education camps in America. Shocking plans discovered to put political activists in prison camps and then to be pacified by PSYOP officers. It's decision time for the U.S. military. Whom will you serve? Then, the FBI's latest plot to engineer their own job security, as 5 crackheads in Cleveland are arrested after being recruited and trained to blow up bridges. Plus, shocking video of police drugging Occupy protesters, corrupt officers and county deputies caught in the act. Alex Jones talks to Dan Fite, the producer of the video that documents Minnesota police picking up young people off the street for training programs. Multiple participants say officers gave them illicit drugs and gave them incentives to take the drugs and encouraged them to be informants. INFOWARS Nightly News investigates. Plus, an update on Ron Paul's campaign surge as he moves into position to seize control of the GOP. All that and more on the INFOWARS Nightly News. And now your host, Alex Jones.
Tonight's top story confirms everything that we've been documenting for years. It's been leaked, and since then we've confirmed it's even on an official Army.gov website. U.S. Army document outlines plan for re-education camps in America. Political activists would be pacified to sympathize with the government or learn their Stockholm syndrome, because the government itself is run by foreign banks. It goes on to say they would identify malcontents, trained agitators, or people that don't like being gang raped by the government, and political leaders within the facility who may try to organize resistance or create disturbances in the United States. They develop and execute indoctrination programs to reduce or remove antagonistic attitudes. Don't like the fact your kids were shipped over to Saudi Arabia? While you're in a FEMA camp, they'll teach you. And identifies political activists. Don't have that in America. Hell, ask George Washington. That's illegal. Provides loudspeaker support. I've been to urban warfare drills where they train to target the American people, such as administrative announcements. America is a pig house that worships your loving bankers. Right out of Red Dawn. When necessary, helps the military police commander control detainee and the evil American populations. Plans and executes a PSYOP, or psychological warfare, that's what our military is for, is to wage war against us, that produces an understanding and appreciation of U.S. policies and actions. It goes on. This story has gone mega viral, as it should. FEMA camps confirmed, in triplicate, and that they're re-education camps. What's wrong with those? They have them in North Korea. Got a little news flash for the globalist. You may have drugged and dumbed down and brainwashed most of the American people, but a large cohort of us are awake. And if you think you're going to take this country like it's Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany or Chi-Com China, you got another thing coming. There's enough of us left who understand what's happening that you're not going to get away with this. And by the way, this stuff's blowing up in your face. You think we're scared by all this? You may have even leaked this on purpose. It doesn't scare us. It only lets us understand we're on the right side of history. Continuing with this PSYOP, and no, this story is not a joke, it's in the Minnesota papers. Nationwide, a globalist organization is funding police to go pick up youth and others and give them cocaine, heroin, PCP, LSD, marijuana, all of it. They claim it's training officers to tell when you're using drugs. The truth is they're dumping off the homeless, drug addicts, mentally ill at any type of demonstration to have news cameras rolling to demonize people. They also get young people on drugs so they can then be informants to set up other innocents in exchange for the narcotics. So the drug-dealing government from the days of Serpico is getting even more sophisticated. And we've got a guest, Dan Fight from Minnesota, coming up to break all of that down this evening. Speaking of provocateur actions, the FBI has been in the New York Times, you name it, caught busting groups they create. They don't just infiltrate, they go out and create them. And you know who they find in every case, whether it's Muslims or anarchists? Mentally retarded people on welfare, schizophrenics, crackheads. I mean, I could go out and hire an Austin crackhead or schizophrenic in an hour with $10,000 to say they're going to, you know, blow up the Capitol. I would never do that. But the point is, this is so incredible. FBI nabs 5 mastermind geniuses after teaching them how to blow up a bridge in Cleveland. And it's all part of just hyping non-existent threats. Like you're told, give your rights up, Al-Qaeda is going to attack you. But Al-Qaeda is our friend now, and we need to give up all our rights because they're going to attack us. But they are attacking Libya and Syria and other countries. Shifting gears out of the latest FBI provocateur staged event with the mentally unfit, we move right along to USA Today. So much money's being spent, billions every month, literally, to launch satellites to spy on farmers and your backyard and you and your family, government using your tax money against you, that report warns of weather satellites' rapid decline. Predicting the weather is tricky enough. Now a new government-sponsored report warns that the USA's ability to track tornadoes, forecast hurricanes, and study climate change is about to diminish. All the money's going into surveilling the people. That's just more begging for money so they can shove a camera down our throat while shipping narcotics into our country. Our government doesn't exist. It's Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase run. Look at this little article. Murder, suicide, or assassination. Did veteran J.T. Reddy pay the price for going constitutional? And that is an article by Patrick Henningsen, a volunteer U.S. border guard and outspoken former U.S. Marine. J.T. Reddy was found dead Wednesday afternoon along with 3 adults and 1 small child in an apartment mass shooting, an apparent mass shooting in Gilbert, Arizona. This is one of the favorite ways the different mafia groups do it. We saw a state senator in Georgia exposing child kidnapping rings, and they went and killed her and her husband, said a murder-suicide. I find this very suspicious. I'd watch this guy. He didn't come off totally like a Fed, like Hal Turner, as most white supremacists, but he did come off as unstable, so he might have done it. It's just that when you know that these things have been staged in the past with all this other propaganda going on, it's very, very suspicious. Speculation of a cover-up frenzy was fueled by an early statement by Sergeant Bill Balfoss stating, "We do not believe the suspect is at large. All the information is pointing to the fact that he is one of the dead at the house," thus continuing the latest trend of not waiting for a full coroner's report before publicly slandering and implicating someone. And that happened with Breitbart. Hour and a half, 2 hours after he's dead. Hey, nothing to look at. He died an hour, few hours before releasing documents on Obama. And then the coroner, of course, died of poisoning, but that's no big deal. Continuing here, moving along from this individual, Oklahoma City bombing grand juror Hoppy Heidelberg passes. An amazing whistleblower, threatened by the FBI with death if he didn't stop exposing the bombs in the building. Hoppy tirelessly worked to expose the truth of what was happening. 1940 to 2012, I think the last interview he did, in fact, he said was on this show with me. Well, we should re-air that in the next few weeks. And he said, yeah, I've got to go fight this thing I have. I don't want to call it cancer and give it power. But Hoppy Heidelberg has gone on to be with the good Lord. So good job, Hoppy, for exposing those globalist terrorists staged Oklahoma City. And we'll be seeing you someday, my friend, along with all of your ancestors and those to come. Let's shift gears now. Officials frantic over Ron Paul supporters seizing control over GOP. Hey, Ron Paul has seized most of the delegates. And in many states, they now admit, like Iowa and, of course, Maine, he really did win. Up front, he was winning, so they just said he lost to create the illusion he didn't have momentum. He gets crowds of 10, 12,000 all over the country. Mitt Romney can't even get a couple hundred, even if he pays them, just like Newt Gingrich. Officials frantic over Ron Paul supporters seizing control of GOP. Congressman fills another 4,000-seat stadium in California. So Ron Paul is going on setting brush fires in the mines of liberty, educating people about an alternative to right-wing fascism and left-wing communism and socialism, all run by Der Rothschild. And continuing with an apple that didn't fall too far from the tree, Rand Paul launches campaign to end the TSA. Our story went viral today thanks to DrudgeReport.com. He is in legislative action to abolish government involvement in security and to replace it with the airports making the decision about their own security they want to hire. And again, that will break up this big lobby that's monolithic and can be commanded by the federal government. So a step in the right direction in a big, fat way. But we're not done with the Rand Paul revolution of liberty. There's more. We've already aired this week the full speech of Ron Paul talking about false flag terror. Here is some of the man on the street from that rally. We now have the official number, 6,000 plus people. And then we'll come back with the quote of the day before our guest. It's part of the jam-packed information overload that is teleprompter-free InfoWars Nightly News, 15-day free subscription at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Richard Reeves here reporting for InfoWars.com. It is April 26th of 2012. We are on the grounds of the LBJ Presidential Library at the lawn on the west side of the venue. We're about to have Ron Paul speak here at 7 p.m. We already have a large crowd. We've got about 30 minutes before the event. There are probably at least over 1,000 people here ready to see Ron Paul. They've really come prepared with their signs, their shirts, their buttons, and it looks like it will be an awesome speaking engagement here in Austin, Texas coming up.
I see a lot of people I saw last time around. I see a lot of new people, and I'm encouraged by that. I'm not going to, sit here and pretend like the establishment doesn't have a few things up their sleeve when it comes to, rigging the election, I'll allege. But it's still optimistic. It still feels good to try and to do the right thing, even if you know that everything's stacked against you.
What we have to think about is